Greetings, peace and blessings, everybody. Thank you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. And I think what's today's Wednesday. I had to look, y'all. Yes, come on in. So I hope everybody's day is going well. I hope my day has been, my morning has started out a little turbulent, but all is well. God is good. And I'm in good spirits. So I hope to find and seek that everybody within the sound of my voice is also in good spirits. And if you're not, become thankful. Become thankful and appreciative, and then your spirits and your vibrations will lift. I promise. I promise. We got Kim R in the building. Greetings to you. Always, always good to see you. Got Shay Love in the house. Come on in, and if y'all don't mind, just tapping that like button on the way in. I'll be truly grateful. And so, yeah, we're going to get right off into it, right? Listen, so there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of information. Um, there's a lot with the age of cameras. And you got cameras everywhere. You got phone cameras. You got street cameras. You got cameras from every angle within businesses, within the four walls. You got cameras outside of people's front doors. Got cameras in people's cars. There's just there's very little that goes missed anymore, due to the fact that cameras are so accessible, and they're usually always rolling, or they're always at your fingertips to be rolling, right? And this story resonates with me personally, and which is why I want to at least kind of do my part in to bring awareness of different angles surrounding, because there's so many different perspectives you can look at when it comes to this young man and his tragic story. So from my understanding, now fair use is in effect. There are, when I was looking for news articles, sources of information to be able to provide some type of, at least to my ability, more consistent and accurate chain of events as to what had happened leading up to him being in the hospital, which also led up to his dad to push the live button and record in person and personal what was going on in that hospital room. But the reason why one of the main reasons this resonates with me the way that it does is because everybody is associating this man with being athletically fit, active in, football, in sports. And I have a son that this resonated with me very loudly on. Now, to my understanding, he was driving to college from his hometown in Durham, California, is where he was going, I think, to North Carolina College. I don't want to get the name wrong. So he, there was a couple of different sources, but the more consistent one is that there was an accident that he either observed happening or he was a participant in, but he inadvertently got out to go help the more severely impacted vehicle to go assist the person out. And as he was walking back to his vehicle, he was struck by a moving car. Um, Now, when this child left home, nobody imagined that this is how the story would develop or it would transpire. And in the blink of an eye, everything changes. Everything can change. And in this real time situation, you can only imagine how fast everything moved, because time is so, so super important when you're dealing with life and death situations. Every breath, every moment, every second is super, super critical as to what the desired outcome or the inevitable outcome for the lack of a better word, plays out, right? And so while he was going to allegedly assist someone in another, in their vehicle, he was struck. Now he was transported to a hospital in Charlotte called Atrium, and there his family wanted him to be moved back home or to their living area, to their hospital, and they got resistance allegedly from Atrium in Charlotte, North Carolina, which propelled them to go down there with that resistance. Now, when they get there, from my understanding, they were under the impression that he was not at that point dealing with life-threatening illness, right? Or life-threatening injuries, right? And so when they get there and they see that he's on life support, now they're like, okay, no, we need to get him moved. We need to get him moved now. And everybody stepped up and everybody became extremely active because they realized, no, this something don't feel right. Something ain't resonating right. You got the mother and the father, and I think it's the sister, that were in the hospital room. And you can tell by the way that they were moving that they were all on the same accord. They were all on the same page and they were not, in their opinion, getting the adequate cooperation from the hospital, right? Of course, you start asking questions. And when you have multiple people, like the mother, the father, the sister, there were other people that were with the family that were coming in and out of the hospital room, that were also privy and aware to what was going on around them, right? So without further ado, I just want to share a couple of video sources to give a more accurate or a more in-depth perspective of the possible chain of events that took place, including a video clip that has really gone viral with the father actually going live and speaking to the people that were in the live, to the camera, and saying, this is what's going on, this is what we're doing, this is how it's going, we're not getting the cooperation, this is why we feel is the reason that this is happening and transpiring the way that it is. And so like I said, it resonates with me because it's when you're dealing with football, I don't care whether it's on a high school level, college level, professional level, they are an organization. They run very parallel and similar to one another, no matter what level you are on. It is a very intensive and very demanding obligation and decision that you make as a family. It's not just affecting the player. It is a family organization, and it requires participation from everybody, right? So let me just say thank you to everybody coming in. If I'm missing you, y'all know I got ADHD now, so but I do want to greet my people and say that I appreciate y'all for being here. Stories like this, or situations like this, because this is not a story, this is somebody's real life, it affects me. And then when you find similarities and you find a connection and you have empathy, and you can definitely, no matter what the outcome or the situation and the circumstances surrounding it is, this is somebody's child that they sent off to college, that they have invested in, that they have sacrificed for, that they have supported, and that everybody has an accumulative goal and vision in mind. And nobody prepares themselves, nor do I feel that they are able to prepare themselves for such an outcome as this. And so my heart goes out to the family. Prayers go up to everybody involved. I know that they have a GoFundMe account that I will put a link to in the description if anybody wants to, contribute. I don't know what their needs are at this point. I know that originally the GoFundMe account was to help transport him from Charlotte to their home hospital facility, right? And so, but I'm sure with everything that's transpiring, I know if it were me, there would be legal action pursuing. So whatever, in whatever capacity, I'm sure they will be grateful for any contributions, any assistance. If you can't do it, pray for the people, pray for the family. Just everything surrounding it has to be traumatizing. So we got Strawberry Shortcake in the house. Thank you. It's always good to see you. We got Kelvin H. Grand Rising to you. We got Sis Laverne in the house. Listen. Happy birthday, Laverne. Yes, happy. Y'all wish my girl, happy birthday. Hey, beautiful one. Hey, peace and blessings to you. If one of my mods can drop Miss Yo Thoughts link in the chat. Also, if someone would drop Miss Beautiful One's link in the chat, because she does have a page, go and sub up to her in case one day she wants to go live, right? We got Lisa Love in the building. I appreciate y'all. Yes, everybody, thank you. So happy birthday to my girl, Miss Yo. I hope this is your best one yet. You give and you just cater to everyone you love and everyone around you. And I just hope and pray that you allow somebody to cater to you today, Laverne. Okay, I know the head get a little thick sometimes, but receive it, right? Receive it and listen to Shirley today, just for today. Okay. If y'all could just drop the links in the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the first video source.
This North Carolina football player is dead. This is Terrance Howard. Terrance was moving his belongings from Alabama to Durham. He was involved in a traffic incident. Terrance got out of his car to check on another motorist, and when he was turning to go back to his own car, he was hit by a passing car. At that time, Terrance did not have any identification on him, so it took a while for them to notify his family that he was in the hospital and that he had been hit. The hospital that Terrance was at could not treat his injuries. So allegedly, he was being transferred to another hospital. Now, this is all per his family. And the day that he was supposed to be transferred to a different hospital, allegedly, a doctor came into the room, put something into his IV, and Terrance started to crash. This young man started to go downhill. And in videos circulating on social media, you can see his family doing chest compressions and things like that to save his life.
Okay, so there has been some pushback, right? Or some different variations of interpretation of, now to me, if you got the mom and the daddy in the room and they're watching everything, so they're watching his vitals, they're watching the monitor to see, especially when he's got a tube down his throat and he's not conscious and he's depending on these machines in order to sustain his proper level of oxygen to keep him alive, right? And parents, I've been there, maybe not to this degree, but anytime you go visit someone in a hospital, or you go to support, definitely somebody close to you, you're going to observe everything around you. You're going to have questions. You're going to advocate for this person. You're going to make sure that you are exhibiting the best, that you are supporting them in the best way that you know how, by asking the right questions, by just being super observant. So you can't tell me that the father is saying, without a shadow of a doubt, they came and put something in his IV, and right after that, things went bad. They went left. that's going to correlate as something is not right. Okay, what's next? As his father, now I got to step up. Now something is really wrong. That instinct, that maternal and that paternal instinct. This young man was blessed enough to have his mother and his father and have them both present inside of the hospital room at a time where they were on the same page. They were cohesive, they were together, they were with one mind, and that was to get their son to safety because they did not feel that he was in the best situation possible in order to get him through it, right? So let's continue.
While the family is trying to save him, the doctors are just standing around. They are waiting for him to go so they can allegedly take his organs. Terrance ultimately dies, and his family is seeking justice. So let's get this story out there. Let's get them the justice that they deserve and things like that. Now, again, all of this is alleged. I wasn't there, so I don't know. But the videos of the family working on him, doing chest compressions and things like that, is very heartbreaking. It definitely feels very organ harvesting. It feels like it just doesn't feel right. This North Carolina football player is dead.
Okay, so you heard those two words. I'm not going to repeat them. Fair use again for the sake of the video. So what is being said is that he had organ donor on his driver's license. I'm not here to tell people what to do or what not to do. Just make a wise decision. Do your research. You can tell me all day long. There's a reason why they ask for that option. It's also a reason why that option is available to you on your identification and your driver's license, right? Or your ID. So read in between the lines. Exactly. And the same, that goes for nobody in my family. If I have to scream to the mountaintops, or I have to say, if you feel like I'm trying to impose and run your life, yep, in this instance, I am. We're not doing that. Thank me later, right? So Lisa Love says, my sister is an organ donor. I'm always scared this will happen to her. God forbid if she should get hurt, whereas she is not given the proper level of assistance because of. Now, I will say this too. If you do your research, you will also realize that there are a lot of car accidents every day, right? And you may find upon your research that this is one of the places that they actually pay more attention to the driver's license in this type of situation when you're dealing with car accidents. And that, I feel, is largely and primarily because you have a particular window in order to exhume the organs outside of the body, and they can't be deceased for a long period of time, if at all, depending on which organs you're speaking on. So to me, they correlate, right? And therefore that little piece of wisdom right there can help you decide, and also help you further your investigation and research as to if what I'm saying has credence, and if so, why, right? So let's go to the second video source. We're not gonna make this a long live, y'all, but we definitely want to get this word out, and we want to and educate during the process, because by the time something like this actually happens, for a lot of people, it's going to be too late. Your mind is not going to be centered around that. It's going to be the aftermath where things start to come to you and you start, man, I should have asked that question. Man, what if I'd have made this decision? Man, no, we're trying to avoid all of that beforehand. And if this young man left us, it shouldn't be in vain. It won't be in vain. If anything, he can teach us how to prevent, or how to move differently, or how to tweak a decision that we probably have already made within our family units, and to see what best suits us and how we move with our particular loved ones, right? So give me just a second, y'all. Okay, so before I do that, I want to hold on a second. No, I want to do this one first. Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Dr. Herman. Who is Dr. Herman? That's who it is. That's the head demon in charge. That's who you see. He wants his organs. He wants his organs. They said that it was better for him.
In 2013, they did the same thing. In 2013, they had ordered. This is an organ trafficking company right here. It's a private organization. They traffic organs.
He got caught up in something. Come on. Come on.
Okay, so the mom mentioned something about 2013, and so we understand that she is absolutely in a position where their son is their primary focus. However, they are still trying to educate and let people know, yo, this is what's going on, based off of the interaction, because by this point they have been going back and forth with this hospital for several days. That's what got them to the point where they ended up having to go. In my opinion, they would have inevitably had to be there anyway. However, even if they transferred him and the young man was in a position to be transferred, but it was just an ongoing thing to the point where nothing settled in their spirit enough for them to not go and do everything that they could in order to make sure that that transfer from that facility to their home in Alabama took place, right? Let's continue.
He came in and I watched him pump something in him twice. He said it was just saline.
Yeah,
it was just saline. I watched him.
This heartbreaking.
Okay, so she said, y'all forgive me, but there's a lot going on and I'm going to have to stop it in order to give, because it seems based off of the comments in the chat that there are some people that are unaware of this story, right? Or this situation. So the mother said that they came in twice and put something inside of the IV, not once, but twice. Now the father straight up said, look, he went left. So he got worse, like immediately once they put something in the IV. And what disturbed them even more so is when he started to go left, the mom was seeking for the doctor to assist, was telling the nurses, go get the doctor. What she said that they were standing outside of the room and nobody moved. And at one point, there were members of the staff that were out in the hallway snickering and laughing. Let me tell you something. Couldn't have been mine, because I'd have been in jail and I would have known what was going on. So thank goodness for the composure and the emotional control that this family had in such a crazy and just, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. I mean, we will do what we need to do as parents. Those instincts kicked in. Now they are a very spiritual family. They're a Christian family. And so this video doesn't show it, but the mother was praying scriptures and rebuking any demons out of the room. She was praying over her son, and she was definitely covering her son in prayer, outwardly, openly, and loudly. And that just gave me chills. So there are so many different angles and so many different clips, because the father went live several times. He didn't just go live once, right? So there's other footage out here for y'all to look at and go kind of do your own due diligence on this story. The rabbit hole does go deep and it's still evolving as we speak, right? But let's continue.
Photo captures a father performing chest compressions on his 19-year-old son, Terrance T Howard, at Atrium Health Carolina's Medical Center in North Carolina last Thursday. Let me provide some background on this tragic event. Terrance, originally from Texas, played football at the University of Alabama before transferring to North Central Carolina's University. On Monday, July 29th, he was involved in a minor car accident. As he exited his vehicle to check on the other car's occupants, he was struck by a passing car, suffering severe head trauma and critical injuries. He was rushed to Atrium Carolina's Medical Center. Reports indicate.
Now, to me, that's the first time I've heard that was on this clip. that he was unconscious. I was told, or based off of, like I said, even the father, he has a Facebook page, and the father said that he got hit while he was outside of the vehicle. So even if he was in an accident, it wasn't something that was life-threatening at that point. It was once he got out of the vehicle to go check to see if the other and that just lets you know, if that's true, the compassion level. Now you done got into a fender bender, and then you get out to go make sure that the other person in the car was okay, or to see if you could assist in any way. And on the way back to your vehicle, in order to pursue what you got to pursue for the next steps, now you get struck. That is just, I don't know, y'all, it's heartbreaking. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. I don't know how to, this is the first time I've heard this version that, you know, he had to be airlifted as a result of the accident, but he was, based off of what I've seen or what I've heard, the information that he was hit by a car.
That Terrance was declared brain dead, and his family made him a DNR, do not resuscitate, though this remains unconfirmed. On Thursday, Terrance's father went live on Facebook multiple times, showing himself and, presumably, Terrance's mother taking turns performing chest compressions on him with no medical staff present. This sparked outrage online. In one video, Terrance's father claimed a nurse had administered something into Terrance's IV to end his life for organ harvesting and sale. The hospital, bound by HIPAA laws, has not commented on these allegations. The family was visibly distraught over the entire situation. Sadly, Terrance passed away on Thursday. The official cause of death has not yet been released. We will provide updates as more information becomes available. Our deepest condolences go out to Terrance's family during this unimaginable time. Stay tuned for further updates on this developing story.
So this gets worse. The hospital called the police because the parents wouldn't leave the room. They wanted their son transferred. As you can see, just in this small clip, you saw no hospital staff in the room. You saw the mother, and there's other footage of the father. They were taking turns giving chest compressions to him. When the father walked into the room, he said he is breathing on his own. They had said to them that he had passed on. They bypassed the staff, went into the hospital room, and the father observed the son breathing on his own. That's when the staff came in, put something in the IV, and then it went left. So the police were called. Yes, Lisa, absolutely. This was, and let me tell you, it wasn't long after that he was pronounced gone. Whether he was before that or not, we don't know. We don't, and they're not going to get the full story. But the police were definitely called in and told them that they had to leave or they were going to get arrested. This is why, in my opinion, you have these binders. Like when you go, say if you go through the emergency room for your child and you're the parent, you're present, you go to register them. We know what that paperwork looks like. The only thing we're trying to do is get our child taken care of. You're not going to sit there and read all of the legalese language in these documents, and it's that way by design. Even if you sat there and read it, you're not going to comprehend it. And Miss Beautiful One, I agree. However, a lot of times people, they don't have the wherewithal or the resources to be able to do that all the time, right? But absolutely, my child is coming with me. But that's the thing, in this paperwork, evidently there was something lawful in it enough to get them to call the police, and for the police to say that, and I'm sure it has to do with them being private property. And at that point, if the patient is in the hospital's care, I'm not a physician, I'm not even in the medical field like that. I'm just using common sense, and I've visited these facilities enough to where, everything's a business. to us as parents, we're looking at this totally different. But at the end of the day, these hospitals are big business, right? They're going to protect their investment, and they're going to basically produce and to word everything in the legalese language when it comes to their business, to where now the patient is a commodity. And this family feels even more so, because guess what? They want to know, why did you tell us that he was DOA or pronounced deceased when we walked in the room and bypassed the medical staff? He was actually breathing on his own, right? So there is footage out there with the police showing. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, y'all. Let's see. There's something out there that shows the police. I did see it, but I think it was on Facebook a few days ago. So I do know it's out there. This is just a heartbreaking story. And and no matter what part of the story we're listening to, it's going to touch everybody. It's going to resonate with most of us when it comes to this, because we all have somebody that we love. And to me, hospitals are only in my family to be used for trauma purposes, and traumatic experiences. Your head's gonna have to be on a swivel. You're gonna have to educate yourself, and you're gonna have to prepare. And there are certain things you can do to prepare for unforeseen circumstances coming around the pipe, possibly such as this. One of those, in the last video that we saw, there's a DNR, evidently that was signed by the parents. Now, the question I got is, this child is not from Charlotte. This child's from Alabama. So whoever has his records, and whoever has the records that where the DNR was signed, I don't foresee, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't foresee this hospital having access to that. So how would this hospital know in a trauma response in the ER that this child had a DNR? The parents didn't go till several days later, right? So anyway, I'm just posing that question. Let's go on to this next clip, and she will explain it a little bit better than I can.
Last video regarding Terrance Howard and his family pleading with the staff in North Carolina to transport their son. I wasn't under the impression that he was brain dead. Maybe he was. I just don't know that information, so I can't speculate. Some of you may have heard that information, but I have not. So I'm going off of what I've heard, videos I've seen from the parents. So in regards to that, apparently their son, or Terrance, was DNR, which means do not resuscitate, meaning no life-saving efforts will take place, no CPR. Now, if you designate yourself as being DNR, it is a legal document that must be signed by you, and it must be a part of your medical record. From what I heard from the family, the staff there at the hospital did not have any of his records. So therefore, how did they know he was DNR? I heard the parents also brought in records because the staff was requesting them. Where do they do that at? Why are they requesting outside records for a critically injured patient? What are those records going to do for this patient if he's brain dead? Something isn't adding up. A lot of times the problem is staff do not want to hear from families, especially a religious family. This family is religious. They're going to speak their piece and get to the bottom of what they need. Their son apparently... Come on. This is in regards to my last video regarding Terrance Howard. And are the records going to do for this patient if he's brain dead? Something isn't adding up. A lot of times the problem is staff do not want to hear from families, especially a religious family. This family is religious. They're going to speak their piece and get to the bottom of what they need. Their son, apparently, what has been said is that he was an organ donor. I advise against putting that on your ID. Do not put organ donor on your ID. Unless you are adamant about being an organ donor, allow your family to make that decision for you. I personally am not putting that on my ID. At that moment in time, allow your family to make that decision. Some of you may not agree with that, and that is totally fine. I am a healthcare provider, and I know what's best for me and my family. Be an advocate for yourself. Be an advocate for your family. Make sure all of your medical affairs are in place. If you need a DNR, request it. Have it legally drafted and you sign it, as well as appoint somebody to take care of your medical affairs and speak for you if you are unable to speak for yourself. That is called a medical power of attorney. This is in regards to my last video regarding Terrance Howard.
So she is stating, that the DNR, you by law, and this is something that you have to make a personal decision on, but by law and HIPAA and all of that other stuff with the medical system, that they, once you sign that, they can't. But my question is how did they know? Now, once the parents got there and they brought those records, then maybe that was when it was implemented, and then they realized, okay, and then that changes the story. But there's so much information we don't have, and we do have footage, and that footage is going to be super powerful. And then you have the hospital saying that based off of HIPAA laws and legal laws that we cannot disclose any information or release any information. So, I'm not saying one way or the other because I wasn't there, and I don't, none of us have any of that information, but based off of the footage, it doesn't look good. And there are more questions than there are answers, right? I want to go back real quick. I'm sorry to shift, but I noticed someone said that they didn't see the membership tab. I don't see it either, y'all. I don't know what's going on with it. So once the live is over, I apologize. It may not be available to you during this stream, but I will definitely try to get to the bottom of it and see what's going on. I appreciate those that are willing to become members and that are seeking to become members, and I appreciate y'all. Also, thank you. I did get a notification through the Cash App, and we already got thank you, beautiful one. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for those that either do bless the platform or consider blessing the platform. It doesn't go unappreciated and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you. And yes, some people wear DNR bracelets, but see, that's the thing. How many people even know what DNR is? What it entails, how deep it goes, what the different scenarios are, the advantages of the disadvantages of doing a DNR. Getting a medical power of attorney as well is super important, because people cannot make decisions on your behalf if they don't have written permission to, and they're not either a parent of a minor child or a legal married spouse. And then, your husband or your wife ends up needing medical attention. Definitely. And again, good lawyers, but hopefully there will be lawyers. And I think I saw Ben, whatever that gentleman's name, that is a high profile lawyer that takes a lot of the cases, the high profile cases. He does get results. I just think that maybe he's not the only one that is available or should be available, or sufficient enough to be able to represent the families in need of, just because it made, the news or social media or went viral. Now all of a sudden, we don't know what's going on. So we must educate ourselves. That's the thing, y'all. That's the thing. And let me tell you something. I always say, I know people look at me like, when it comes to my sons, I stay in their business. I don't care. I don't care how it looks. I don't do it to the point where it handicaps them or limits them. I find a delicate balance. But if the parents don't advocate, or no one advocates for your children while they're children or even young adults, then who will? And ain't nobody doing nothing in no hospital room that's going to depict or determine life or death for my child without me knowing everything that is going on and that is transpiring. Y'all answering questions. I don't care what the situation is. You need to read up on it. If you can afford some representation or a consultation with your attorney to get some good legal advice on how to deal with medical situations 99.9% of the time are unexpected. By then it's too late. We have to educate and prepare ourselves for uncomfortable situations and uncomfortable discussions surrounding what if this happens. What is our game plan? They bank and they hope that we come in there uneducated, unprepared, naive, ignorant. We have to educate ourselves, especially with your biggest investment, and that's your loved ones, that's your people. If we don't do it, who's going to? And all of us need to be, because it can be any one of us in the family core that's a problem. If you don't know what the hell's going on and you're walking in and you have these medical professionals, and if you think that they don't benefit more from the deceased than they do from the living, you're mistaken. The potential, at least, allegedly, right? Got to be careful with all of that. So I don't know what problems they're facing going forward. I'm sure, like I said, let me tell you something, 2024 ain't playing. It wouldn't surprise me if the truth comes out, or if there's more information that is revealed upon the autopsy being performed. I'm hoping and praying that the parents get an independent autopsy done. I am praying that they have enough wherewithal and resources to be able to get an independent autopsy done, so they don't have to worry about if the truth is being skewed or not, right? So when it comes to our families, again, I just want the takeaway to be that this can happen to any one of us. This can happen to all of us. And it can definitely happen to someone that we love, that is close to us. And with the world moving the way that it is, it would be best if we prepared for it more than not. And just saying, well, I don't really foresee this happening to me, because life will life you. It will teach you. It will show you, right? So Miss Yo says, hold on. We educate ourselves on material things. We need to educate ourselves more on the things that really matter. Beautifully said, birthday girl. Yes, definitely. You know, I think at least I'm hoping and I'm anticipating and praying that we are turning a corner when it comes to the things that matter, and shifting and realizing that the things that we've been sold on, the things that we've been taught, the things that we've been miseducated on, for lack of a better word, that we seek to unlearn and relearn, and to educate ourselves on things that are intangible. Tangibles can always be replaced. It is the intangibles that matter. It is the people in our lives. It is those are the ones that, well, most of us, we make the biggest investment on. These things are important. We are so distracted as a people that it is so easy to become a victim and become victimized when stuff happens to us and we're not prepared. Oh, woe is me. It's too late. We don't have any excuses in this informational age. it is time for us to educate ourselves and to prepare. There's nothing wrong with doing things ahead of time. It saves you so much grief. And then your mindset and your thought process is a lot clearer when you're doing it from the outside looking in, when you're not in the situation, when you're not in the trauma, when you're not in life-altering circumstances and your brain is going 1,000 different directions at the same time. What if this person doesn't make it? What if this person doesn't make it out the way that they went in? What does this mean for our family? What does this mean for the care? Are we ready? Are we prepared? Can somebody care for this person if they make it out and make it home? It's too late at that point. Or even if it's not too late, now you done made it 100 times harder, right? More difficult. And now you got a plan on the off the cuff, on the whim. And a lot of times when we do that, we're not making sound decisions, right? So I want to do, depending on what information comes out, I definitely will be doing an update on this. Like I said, I'm personally invested in this story. It has touched my heart. And I definitely wanted to bring or do my part to bring awareness to the situation that it happened and that the circumstances surrounding it is questionable at best. And even if 50% of what is being alleged is inaccurate, we still got the other 50% where we still asking questions, right? So I want to thank everybody for coming through. Life be lifing. I got a dippo because I would definitely make it longer, but I do want to do another live here soon within the next day or so. So just keep your eyes out for that. Again, I will check on the memberships because I definitely encourage y'all to become a member to support the channel. I appreciate all of the support. If you haven't tapped the like button, please do on the way out. If you're catching the replay, definitely don't hesitate to comment in the comment section. And any blessings to the panel or to the channel are truly and heartfelt and appreciated. Much love to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy your day, Michelle. I'm gonna be hitting you up soon. I thank everybody for coming in. Yes, thank you for beautiful one. I'm so glad you were able to get the notification. It is so good to be able to see y'all come through, support, and it reaffirmed that, you know what, it was on my heart to do it. And I'm glad that I did, because sometimes when you get information, you think everybody else got access to that same information and they don't. And to me, this is part of being a content creator. Creator is bringing awareness, right? And so I just want to do my part on that as well. So we got Will Allen in the house, VMAC. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I saw Damn D's name. I know he's probably moved on because that's a busy man. But I did want to say thank you for coming through. Appreciate you always for the support and the like, because I know you hit the like button. We got Complex Design in the building. We got Phoenix Rising in the house. Santino. Thank you. And always thank you for your support as well. And anybody, Miss Collins, sis, hey, thank you for coming through. I appreciate y'all. Make me smile when I see my people that I socialize with in the chats come through and support. I really do. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank you. Much love to everybody. And I'll see y'all in the next chat. All right. So peace and blessings and much love.